Assalamu alaikum. This is Prapunti Chakraborty welcoming you all to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia welcomed by a huge crowd of enthusiastic supporters as she returns home receiving medical treatment in London. Adversary Council approves draft of Cybersecurity Ordinance 2025 alongside declaring 10-day holiday on Holy Eid al-Adha. NCC plans to conclude primary talks with political parties by 15th of May, says Vice Chairman Professor Ali Riaz as he receives set of reform proposals from NCP. Supreme Court's Appellate Division adjourns hearing of appeal petition filed by Jamaat leader ATM Azharul Islam challenging death penalty for crimes against humanity till 8th of May. India orders officials to carry out civil defense drills in much of the country on Wednesday as it prepares for potential military conflict with its archival Pakistan. And Barcelona to take on Inter Milan in second leg of UEFA Champions League semi-final at San Siro Stadium in Milan tonight. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia has returned to the country after receiving medical treatment in London. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir stated that her return would make the path toward democratic transition in the country easier. Dr. Zubaida Rahman, wife of Tariq Rahman, also returned with Begum Zia. Around 11 a.m., Begum Zia exited the airport with her motorcade, surrounded by a huge crowd. The area echoed with chants from enthusiastic supporters and massive gatherings lined both sides of the road. Earlier on Monday night at around 9:30 p.m., Begum Zia departed from London's Heathrow Airport, with Tariq Rahman seeing her off. She traveled on an air ambulance provided by the Emir of Qatar, which made a stop in Doha before landing at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport in Dhaka at around 10:30 a.m. BNP leaders stated that Khaleda Zia's return signifies the defeat of the long-standing conspiracies against the Zia family. Begum Zia had traveled to London on January 8th for advanced medical treatment and had been staying at her son Tariq Rahman's residence. Although many supporters hoped she would return with Tariq Rahman, he did not accompany her. However, his wife Dr. Zubaida Rahman and the wife of the late Arafat Rahman Koko, Sharmila Rahman, did return. BNP leaders and activists alleged that the former FISA's government imprisoned her with false accusations and deprived her of treatment. On the occasion of the Holy Eid al-Adha, people across the country are set to enjoy a total of 10 days of holiday, including general holidays. According to the decision, government, semi-government, and autonomous offices will remain open on Saturdays on May 17th and May 24th. The decision was taken at a meeting of the Adversary Council at Chief Advisor's office today. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus chaired the meeting. During the meeting, the draft of the Cybersecurity Ordinance 2025 was approved by the Adversary Council. Besides, the National Youth Entrepreneurs Development Policies got final approval in the meeting. Advisors and secretaries concerned were present on the occasion. The second round of talks between the National Consensus Commission (NCC) and the National Citizen Party (NCP) was held at the LD Hall of the National Parliament this morning. At the beginning of the meeting, NCP member Secretary Akhtar Hussain handed over a set of reform proposals to NCC Vice Chairman Professor Ali Riaz. NCC member Justice Imdadul Haq, Bodil Alam Mujumdar, Dr. Zaman Safaraz Hussain, Muhammad Ayub Mia, and Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor Monir Haider attended the meeting. NCP delegation included party's Northern Region Chief Organizer Sarjus Alam and Joint Governors Sarwar Tushar and Javed Rasin. Akhtar Hussain criticized the authoritarian legacy embedded in the state machinery over the past 5 decades. The NCP leader said due to the autocratic imprints embedded in Bangladesh's state structure over the last 50 years, people have repeatedly been oppressed and persecuted. He added the meeting is being held with the goal of transitioning and the constitution as well as the state structure from such an authoritarian and fascist framework to a democratic one. Professor Riaz said the progress had already been made on several fronts. He hoped the ongoing talks will settle many unresolved issues. The NCC has planned to conclude the primary talks with political parties on May 15th, Professor Riaz noted. He said the second phase of talks will begin shortly. The Appellate Division of the Supreme Court today adjourned hearing the appeal petition filed by former Jamaat-e-Islami Assistant Secretary ATM Azharul Islam challenging his death penalty for crimes against humanity till 8th of May. The 7 members full appellate bench led by Chief Justice Dr. Said Rifat Ahmed started the hearing. Lawyer Mohammed Shishir Monir presented arguments on behalf of the petitioner. On 13th of December in 2014, ATM Azharul Islam was sentenced to death by the International Crimes Tribunal on charges numbers 2, 3, and 4. Besides, he was sentenced to 25 years of imprisonment for abduction, torture, rape, and other inhuman crimes under charge number 5 and 5 years of imprisonment for torture under the charge number 6. After hearing the appeal against the tribunal's verdict on 31st of October in 2019, the appellate bench led by the then Chief Justice Said Mohammed upheld the death sentence in a judgment. The full copy of the appellate division's verdict was published on 15th of March 2020. ATM Azharul Islam filed a review petition against that verdict on 19th of July of the same year. In the 23 pages review petition, a total of 14 arguments were presented. Following the hearing of the review petition on 26th of February last, the appellate division led by Chief Justice Said Rifat Ahmed granted ATM Azharul Islam permission to appeal against the death sentence. Now, international news. India's government has ordered officials to carry out civil defense drills in much of the country on Wednesday as it prepares for a potential military conflict with Pakistan, its neighbor and arch rival. Tensions between the nuclear-armed countries, which have fought several wars, have escalated since April 22nd when gunmen killed 26 people in the India-controlled part of the Kashmir region, which both countries claim. India accuses Pakistan of being involved in the terror attack, which Pakistan denies. India has been making a case for carrying out military strikes on what it calls havens for terrorists in Pakistan. Pakistan has promised to respond in kind to any military action by India. In recent days, exchanges of small arms fire have broken out along the country's border, and a flurry of activity in New Delhi has suggested that an Indian attack and strike could be imminent. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has met repeatedly with his military leaders, and his officials have continued to talk in public about taking action against Pakistan. Israel attacked Yemen, Lebanon, and Syria, as well as Gaza, where airstrikes killed at least 54 people on Monday. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Gaza's more than 2 million people will be moved in a new ground offensive as Israel's total blockade on the enclave reaches 65 days. The Gaza Media Office said hospitals in Gaza are 48 hours away from collapse, and the lives of thousands of sick and wounded are at risk. Israel's attack has killed at least 52,567 Palestinians and wounded 118,610, according to Gaza's health ministry. The government media office updated the death toll to more than 61,700. Russia attacks the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv after Ukrainian drone attacks on Moscow caused the temporary closure of the city's airports overnight. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin says at least 19 Ukrainian drones were destroyed, while the Russian military says it shot down more than 100 across the country. It is the second night in a row that Ukraine has attacked Moscow and comes 3 days before a major parade in the city, marking victory in Europe in World War II. A 3-day ceasefire in Ukraine announced by Vladimir Putin is due to start on Thursday. Meanwhile, Ukraine insists it's still fighting inside the Russian region of Kursk, despite Moscow saying it was in full control of the area. Ukraine says Russian attacks killed 3 people in Sumy near Kursk, while Russia says Ukraine killed 3 people on the Russian side of the border. Now, sports news. Football. Barcelona is set to take on Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League 2024-25 semi-final second leg match at the San Siro Stadium in Milan tonight. Both teams have had smooth sailing in the tournament. Both played 8 games each in the league stage, won 6 each, drew and lost 1 each. Barcelona beat Benfica in the round of 16, followed by a quarter-final win against Dortmund.